Okay, we're live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here with an update video. We'll look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention over the weekend, over the last few days at least, ever since we did the last live stream that was checking in on the news. I think it was last Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. We'll be looking at some of the main stories, as I said. Some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers, importantly. And we'll go into the chat section also around the 18-20 minute mark and check out what is happening there. So if you're watching live, say hello in the live chat. Watching after the event, say hello in the comment section and leave your 20 cents worth on the news today. Now we'll get straight into the main stories, and this one here dominating the press at the moment. African swine flu has hit Spain. Catalonia is the region most affected, as we can see here. Let me just get out of the way if I can. There we go. Whoop, there we go. And Catalonia has requested the army to contain African swine flu fever after more wild boar found dead near Barcelona. Catalonia's regional government has requested military assistance to contain the outbreak of African swine fever, ASF, affecting wild boar in the Collserola area near Barcelona. The Agriculture Minister, Oscar O'Day, confirmed that the Generalitat, or the Catalonian government, has called for the Specialised Hunting Control Unit of the UME, the Military Emergency Unit, to cordon off the zone and search it metre by metre. More than 250 personnel, including Mossos de Escuadra, rural agents, Barcelona's local police and municipal forces, have been deployed. So far, all tests carried out in the 39 nearby pig farms have returned negative results, which the government described as good news, indicating the virus is still limited to wild boar. However, several additional carcasses have been discovered in recent hours in Cerdanyola del Vallès, where new analyses are underway. The authorities have established a 6-kilometre controlled perimeter in Collserola and warned that it will be expanded if necessary, with all required resources mobilised. So the latest issue to hit Spain as far as animal diseases are concerned, as we know, we're currently suffering the avian flu, I think, in some parts of the country in the north of Spain. Chickens have been, or owners of chicken farms have been told to put their animals indoors, as we have seen in recent times in the news. And now this swine fever, or swine flu, is it? Or whatever it's called, affecting wild boar near Barcelona, in the mountains surrounding Barcelona. So we'll see if the UME, the special military unit, can get that under control with their experienced professional shooters to put these boar out of action and stop the virus or the fever getting into the normal pig supply. I think that is the issue here, because if it does, it probably will mean that animals will either die or need to be sacrificed, and that could be a bit of an issue as far as pork is concerned, because as we know, Spain a huge consumer of pork products, and if this fever gets into the system, there could be issues, as there would be if the avian flu gets out of control as well. So we'll see what happens as far as this swine fever, as we can see there, is concerned here in Spain. The African swine fever. Second piece of news now, and as we can see, opposition leader Mr. Feijóo suggests that Prime Minister Sánchez could end up in prison at a Madrid rally. He said this. Opposition leader Alberto Núñez Feijóo sharpened his attacks on Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez during the PP's 7th major protest against the government held on Sunday at Madrid's Templo de Debod. The rally drew 40,000 people, according to the government delegation, though the PP claimed 80,000. Feijóo demanded immediate general elections and accused Sánchez of being ultimately responsible for the corruption case that has led to the preventative imprisonment of former Minister José Luis Ábalos and his ex-advisor Koldo García, referring to the Peugeot car that the four travelled in during Sánchez's 2017 primaries campaign. Feijóo declared, "3 already know prison, only one is left, the Prime Minister." The crowd responded chanting, Pedro Sanchez to prison. Feijóo urged other parties to choose between mafia or democracy and criticised nationalist partners for swallowing everything to stay in power. He predicted the PSOE party would look back on this period with shame. So Mr. Feijóo again taking to the streets, bringing his supporters out in Madrid, 80,000 according to them, 40,000 according to the government delegation, which of course is controlled by the PSOE party, so you're going to get a discrepancy there as you always do. 40,000 or 80,000 do we think? Well, count. Use some techniques to count how many people fit in one per square meter, and you might come up with a more exact figure, I would say. So who knows? And will Mr. Sanchez end up in prison like his former friends, Mr. Ábalos and Mr. Collo Garcia, who last week was sent to prison by a judge here in Madrid because they are considered flight risks? They have serious charges hanging over their heads, and maybe they'll skip to the country. Maybe they'll go to a country like Venezuela. I don't know. But obviously they don't feel safe here, and the judge thinks that is the case and has put them in prison. So more Spanish politicians, top-level Spanish politicians. We're talking about Mr. Ábalos back in the day was number 2, I think, in the government, and the previous politician that was put in prison, Mr. Santos Cerdán, was also up there as well, maybe number 2 or number 3. So Pedro Sanchez trying to keep clear of all of his former colleagues who are slowly ending up in prison, and Mr. Feijóo thinks that maybe he'll be next. I don't know. Time will tell, as I always say. Third piece of news now, and another protest in Madrid. The self-employed, or the autónomos as they are called here, are protesting against injustice. They are squeezing us like lemons, they say. Self-employed workers from across Spain marched in Madrid on Sunday to protest what they describe as the injustice and financial pressure they are suffering. The demonstration, organised by the Plataforma por la Dignidad de los Autónomos, brought together freelancers from multiple sectors who said they feel massacred despite being the backbone of Spain. We're being squeezed like lemons and we can't take it anymore, said Carmen Corredor, a coordinator of the protest, warning that bigger demonstrations or even strikes could follow if the government fails to act. Marchers carried signs reading, "If freelancers disappear, Spain disappears. And if I don't work, I don't earn, but I still have to pay." At Puerta del Sol, organisers read a manifesto demanding income-based social security contributions, simpler bureaucracy, VAT exemption, and up to 85,000 euros, fairer sick leave rules, greater social protection, and an end to freelancers acting as tax collectors for the state. So there we go. That is what we are dealing with here. The Autónomos in Spain, a collective of which I form part as well, protesting that they are getting squeezed like a lemon by the government, trying to get everything out of the humble self-employed worker who wakes up every day without the protection that salaried workers have in this country, goes to work, even when they're a little bit sick with a cold, for example, they head off to work, they do their time, they come back, and then the government squeezes them like lemons, and I wholeheartedly believe this to be the case. The autónomos being squeezed like lemons by the government, but it doesn't matter which government's in power here in Spain because they all squeeze the autónomo. So if you're planning on coming to Spain and you think being self-employed is a good idea, think again. Think again. Think again. And the final piece of news here, and Spain is moving closer to a nationwide mask plan, face masks that is, as the flu wave intensifies. Spain's Ministry of Health and the conservative-run regional governments have moved significantly closer to approving a unified national plan for managing winter respiratory infections, including flu, RSV, and COVID-19. After months of political tension, both sides used Friday's Interterritorial Health Council meeting to advance a draft protocol similar, though on a smaller scale, to the COVID-era framework. The plan defines 4 alert levels based on thresholds for diagnoses and incidence rates. The renewed urgency comes as Spain officially enters an epidemic phase due to an unusually rapid and intense flu surge, raising fears that this year's wave may be larger than previous ones. Health Minister Monica Garcia expressed cautious optimism that the protocol will be formally approved on the 3rd of December by the Public Health Commission. Garcia urged citizens with cold-like symptoms to wear masks responsibly and stressed that regions facing higher incidence rates will be required to follow the agreed recommendations. "We must stop the epidemic curve," she said. So bad news for the anti-mask brigade in Spain. We saw those people during the COVID-19 pandemic when the use of face masks here in Spain bordered on the ridiculous. You had to wear face masks even when you were in a space completely alone in the middle of a mountain. You had to wear a face mask. Those were the rules. Absolutely ridiculous. I could understand it to a certain extent if you were in a crowded city. You didn't want the virus spreading. As now, you don't want the flu spreading. You don't want to catch the flu just before Christmas. It could ruin your Christmas holidays, of course. So the health experts in this country, the health minister, regional government health ministers as well, coming to an agreement that perhaps it would be a good idea to go back to those days when masks are not obligatory but recommended by the government to put on to help stop the curve, as they say, I think, or stop the spread of the flu epidemic. And for people that haven't had a flu shot, whether that's your whether that's you, or whether you have had a flu shot and you're not worried about getting the flu, or whether you're one of these people that don't believe in vaccines or flu shots, you prefer to just go through life risking the diseases that are out there. Again, that is your prerogative. Go for it. But yes. If you're sick with the flu and you want to get out and about, put on a mask. That's what the government is saying. Give me your comments in the chat section or in the section below. I'm sure it will be lively. The comments are coming up now, comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. We'll see what's been cooking in the chat section. Let's start with this one here from David. Seen plenty of Menu del Dia offers around Costa Blanca areas. Thanks, David, for the comment. This is in reply to a comment that was left on the channel last week by a viewer asking whether around that Torrevieja area down there in the Alicante region, there is the single plate of the day options or the unique plate of the day options, or whether you can get a half menu and things like that, or whether the traditional menu of the day is in full swing in Torrevieja. And David here, of course, saying that yes, it is. It is in full swing. Plenty of places in Torrevieja offering the menu of the day. Not sure what you're paying down there for the menu. 14, 15, 16, I don't know, depending on how popular the area is. But yes, thank you very much for the comment. Another one here from Kath. Kath and Ian, is this, I think? I'm not sure. Or Kathy Anderson. Those people from Venezuela now living in Spain probably have no desire to return there while their present regime is still in control. Thanks, Kath, for that. Yeah, the ongoing issues in Venezuela between that country and the United States. We know that the fighter jets are circling, the B-52 bombers are on standby, and regular flights to Venezuela have been suspended. Here in Spain at least, probably other countries as well, nobody taking the risk. I'm not sure whether it's been lifted yet or not, whether there is some change to that, but I think last week we saw, maybe it was on Tuesday, we saw this piece of news saying that 3 airlines here in Spain have suspended operations to Venezuela. And of course, the Venezuelan regime has put there, Mr. Maduro or Mr. Ripe and company, have retaliated, and I think they have banned some Spanish airlines from going to Venezuela. So not happy with the pause, if you like, of those flights to Venezuela. And I'm sure there are some Venezuelans that have no desires to return to Venezuela with Mr. Maduro or Mr. Ripe in power. But maybe they want to go back and see their families who are still living there. Maybe they have some relatives, grandparents, relatives, other relatives living there, and they want to go back and spend Christmas with them. And they can't, and that's the issue at the moment. So thanks, Kathy, for the comment there. One here from Cars Music Fan. Seems like you want to criticize the US for wanting to control the illegal drug trafficking. You might want to take a look at the trafficking right in your own backyard coming through Marbella. These narcotics are destroying many people's lives and have been ignored for way too long. Quite a critical comment there from that person. Who was it? Cars Music Fan, criticizing me of criticizing the United States for going hard on Venezuela because they want to stamp out the drug trade. Well, here's a question for you. Why haven't they done that to other countries like, for example, Mexico or, for example, Colombia? Why not? Is it because maybe those countries don't have the same things or the same assets or the same resources that Venezuela have? I don't know. I've got no idea. I don't know. But maybe we could put that argument forward. Somebody said that perhaps they're going after the fentanyl trade. As far as everyone I know is, as far as all of the experts and everyone I know that has an opinion on this, they're saying that fentanyl doesn't come from Venezuela. It comes from Mexico. I don't know. But thank you very much for your criticism of what I have said here. And as far as Marbella is concerned, yes, I fully agree. I don't know why you would think that I wouldn't fully agree that the Spanish government has an issue with drugs as well. Many countries do. But as far as I know, Spain is not planning on bombing the CRAP out of Morocco. Thanks for the comment. Another one here from Janouk. On the topic of the false economy boom in Spain with double-digit unemployment, housing shortages, non-living wages and dying rural areas, which make up the largest geographical area of the country, how can anyone in their right mind buy into that BS? Yes, there is an economic boom, but only for the rich, corporations and corrupt politicians. Thanks, Janouk, for the comment there. And questioning whether Spain is indeed going through the economic boom that it says it is. There was also an article in the Financial Times a little bit critical of Spain and its economy. Yeah, they said yes, the Spanish economy is outperforming other countries in Europe, but some of the key reforms that need to be done in this country are not being done. And they also criticised the political division in this country and how toxic politics is here in Spain. And you're going to say, well, where I come from, politics is also toxic, but believe me, it's nothing compared to the toxicity in this country between the left and the right, the two biggest political parties who basically would do anything to get into power. And when they're in power, they would do basically anything to stop the democratic process from taking its due course and allowing the other party to come in. And people are willing to put up with absolutely everything. If you support these political parties, you're willing to bend over backwards and take it all night long, because you support your political party and you do not want the other political party to get into power at any cost. So it doesn't matter how much money somebody steals, allegedly, it doesn't matter what the rumors are, what the police are investigating, what the judges are saying, you only believe what the political party tells you to do or to think. That's where we're at the moment. But so thanks, Janouk, for the comment there. Another one here from David. Spain needs to sort out their crap bus services first. Thanks, David, for the comment. Obviously referring to the idea that somebody put on the table the other day to fix Spain's housing shortage, get people on buses to and from the work areas to some of the towns surrounding the big cities here in Spain where people don't want to live. Sounds easy, right? But maybe the issue is, as this person here, David, points out, maybe the bus services are rubbish and difficult to get sorted out. I don't know who has the concessions to run some of these bus services. All I know is that where I live, we had a population 20 years ago of around 20,000 people. Now it's over 100,000 people, and I still see the same buses circulating. I don't know whether they have increased frequency. I've got no idea. But I see a lot more people waiting for the bus nowadays than I did 20 years ago. But the same buses. Same buses. So, yeah, it's an issue, and I don't think that idea will ever get off the ground, or if anybody here is thinking about it. So the housing crisis will continue. And the final comment here from Lee saying, Stuart, regarding the shortage of social public housing, little is likely to change or improve. Property is a commodity and scarcity maintains profitability. And that sums up the issue probably in 50 words or less. So thank you very much, Lee, for putting that comment there. And it is a commodity. Scarcity of housing keeps the prices high, and of course if you have invested in property, you're rubbing your hands with glee. And if you are a young person trying to get onto the property market, you're scratching your head and your hair's falling out. You're wondering, what do I have to do? But as we saw there, that's part of the problem. Thanks for the comment there, Lee. Now we're going to go into the live chat in just a moment. Firstly, I need to highlight the backdrop picture here, which was sent in by Sharon. And this is a place called Port Alcudia, I think is the name, in Mallorca. And Sharon took this photo as the sun was coming up. I think it's a sunrise photo, not a sunset. But if I'm wrong, let me know. It could be a sunset. It's one or the other. Not sure exactly which one. I think it's a sunrise, because normally with the sunsets, the sky is a bit more orange, I think. But again, as I said, could be wrong. So thanks, Sharon, for sending the photo through. Great one. And if anyone has a similar picture that they would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is on the screen now, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send those photos through to that email address there. There I am, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free. And any other information that you would like to send my way, feel free to send it through to that email address. I might not use every article that I see, but if I think that it could be of value to the audience, I'll use the article. So send them through spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free. Also, if you haven't hit the like icon, we're currently sitting at 65 likes. Do us a favor, hit the like icon, or the like button if you like, and we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally with 171 people currently watching. We will see. So contemplate that, if you will. Hitting the like icon. Thank you very much. We need to also go into the recognize the people that have supported the channel, as I always do. People that have given me a super chat here on YouTube on the live stream. People that have bought me a coffee in recent times. Longer term supporters on Patreon. Thank you very much for that support. And also the channel members of this YouTube channel, thank you very much for that support. Greatly appreciated, as I always say. And some of the recent members to join, we have Maximus. I can't see people's names anymore for some reason. And also Cabby1952. You know who you are. Thank you very much for jumping on board as a member and showing your support that way. Thank you very much. As I always say, I appreciate it greatly. Now, we're going to go into the chat section in just a tick. See what's bubbling away in that chat section. Let's scroll up to the top. What's the activity level like today? We should be able to get through this quickly before I have to blow my nose. Still carrying the effects of the cold that I got last week. Started to get the symptoms around Monday or Tuesday at the end of the cold pattern now. So I should be okay tomorrow going into the new week. Barbara's in the chat section here, coming in from Catalonia, 18 degrees there. I will get the result of the MRI tomorrow. Thank you very much, Barbara, for keeping us up to date on your health issue. MRI tomorrow. Andrew's in the chat. Much needed rain in Galicia, lots of it. Cooler now, 12 to 14 degrees, but not needing the central heating just yet. Thank you very much, Andrew, for your input today. Another Andrew is in the chat here. Valued member is this Andrew. talking to Amanda. So we'll see if we can find... Here we go. This is Andrew's comment to me, or chat to me. Good evening, Stuart and all. Hope you are all enjoying the weekend from London Southeast. Have enjoyed the weekend, Andrew. Hope you have too. Coming to an end now, unfortunately. Back to the grindstone tomorrow. Unfortunately. But what can we do? John's in the chat also. Hello all. Hope all is well. Great food review on Friday, Stu. Food looked delicious. And a great price as well. Have a great week. Thanks, John, for that. Yeah, I enjoyed that meal. What was it? The Madrid-style stew. A very hearty meal, if you like. A heavy meal. It's one of those meals that you don't really need to have anything for a few hours afterwards. Dinner, definitely not. And yes, every now and again, a Madrid stew or another slow-cooked meal. Although I do believe that a lot of these slow-cooked meals nowadays are being put through the old pressure cooker. I would say that is the case. The old pressure cooker, cutting down the cooking times, but they're still decent nonetheless. Leslie coming in from the fields of North Yekla, where we see wild boars every night. They are after the fruit falling from the trees. They're no trouble at all for us. No, Leslie, I imagine the wild boars, if they're just eating the fruit, don't have any issues. But if they are infected with this, what was it called, this African swine fever, I reckon that the authorities will start putting them down so that they don't get into the farmed or the pork farms, which in the north of Murcia, there is a lot of pork farms. You can smell them when you drive through the area. Pork very big in Murcia, I will say, because the number one pork producing company here in Spain, El Pozo, is from Murcia. So a lot of pigs in Murcia. And a lot of the animal variety as well. No, if that's only a joke, don't take it seriously. We'll go into another one here from Sani. Good evening, everyone. Hope you've had a good weekend. Thank you very much, Sani, for that. Good to see you. Janet's a valued member coming in from Oxford. Many werewolves in your neck of the woods, Amanda, says Janet. So Janet also talking to Amanda. Amanda very active on the chat here. Alan's coming in from a place called Lanzarote. Not sure where that is, Al, but I imagine you mean Lanzarote in the Canary Islands. I imagine that's what you mean there. Unable to join tonight, we'll catch up later. Alan sent me some photos through, of course, of that Canary Island. So we'll be seeing those over the next few live streams as well, no doubt. And as I don't know whether I mentioned it, but send the pictures through. Send them through. Stephen coming in from North London, just putting up the Christmas tree, the Árbol de Navidad. Thanks, Stephen, for that. Good to see you. Kev's in the chat. Hope you're feeling better. Hi, everyone else. Great weekend. Yeah, I imagine people have had a decent weekend, Kev. Hope you have too. Masso, hello. Quite simply, hello. Good to see you. Edward coming in also with a brief salutation. Hello all. Burnett 288 coming in from Benny Cassim, I think. Hi Stuart, hope you are feeling better. I too have caught that viral flu that's going around. Never felt so bad into week 5 now. Week 5? Crikey. 5 weeks of the flu. Hope you get well soon. Toronto coming in, Fluttergirl coming in from Toronto where the snow is back. Yeah, cold, I imagine. Cold. Al Doxford coming in. Hi, everyone. Stuart, keep up the live streams. You're doing a grand job. ANL. Thanks for that, ANL. The live streams will be continuing, although I might bring them back a little bit depending on my my workload. We'll see. Sandoval, 1977. Saludos desde Virginia, IIUU, from the United States, Virginia. Saying hello. Good to see you, Sandoval. Raymond coming in from Bogota. Stu, a good friend of mine, is self-employed in Huesca, and he has shared with me how difficult it is. The self-employed should be valued and protected. They should be, Raymond, but unfortunately they're not. They're squeezed, or we're squeezed like a lemon, as we saw before. And that's all part of the issue. If you're not paying high amounts of Social Security, even if you're sick or not working, you're getting hit with taxes, and of course, you can't avoid it, of course. Nobody complains about paying taxes, but I was reading some other countries when it comes to being self-employed. Here, the initial outlay for the self-employed person, before even starting every month, I'm not talking about income tax, I'm talking about the Social Security contribution, over €300 a month. Over €300 a month. In a country like Spain, where salaries are not high, €300 a month is a lot. Another example, my brother-in-law, self-employed as well. Says you have to pay €300 to the government every month for the privilege of having a pension down the road or having health care. No. Self-employed in other countries are expected to take on their own healthcare plans and also put into their own private pension funds, and their plans, and their taxes will take care of their pension down the track should they need to have one. If their superannuation in Australia is not big enough, they need to go into a state pension, it'll be there. But they're not forking out €300 a month even before they earn a cent, which is what happens here. And believe me, that Social Security payment, bang, they never miss. Bang, it's gone from your account, whether you've got money in there or not. And if you haven't got any money in your account and that thing comes through, good luck to you as well. Good luck to you. Kev coming in from our local beach at Bolnuevo to get a sunset pic for me. A bit lousy tonight, but tomorrow back again, says Kev. Thanks, Kev. Excuse me, my cough there. Kim saying, oh goodness, self-employment, never a good option. Done it, seen it, wore the t-shirt, no thank you. This was in the UK, by the way. So not much better there, according to Kim. Thanks, Kim. Renan coming in from a cloudy LA. Good to see you, Renan. Good to see you. Kim also saying, I can fully understand it as an NHS worker, that being the use of the mask. Yes, I can imagine that is true. You don't want this thing spreading out of control unnecessarily when maybe a mask will prevent it. Although we saw during the COVID days that a lot of people skeptical on the old face mask. A lot of people skeptical. Now, I imagine they're still out there. Martin coming in. The flu is raging through Torremolinos these last 2 weeks. It's got everyone in my neighbourhood. Schools are half empty. At least we got it out of the way before Christmas. Yes, Martin, but I'm sure some people will be affected at Christmas time. I am sure. Billy saying, no matter what country you go to, the self-employed are always targeted because they don't have a union or anybody to stand up for them. Although they did hit the streets thanks to that organisation that I don't know whether it's an official organisation or not, but they managed to get a few people out onto the streets of Madrid today. So we'll see if the politicians listen to them. Blood orange moon, is that? The US is only bullying Venezuela for oil. You could put that argument forward, no doubt. As I said, I don't think Colombia has oil, but Colombia's been supplying drugs to the US for decades. Mexico? Other countries? But Venezuela now? Maduro's been there for a long time. Why now? Why now? Amanda's in the chat saying, Stuart, sadly, the political parties in the UK, it's all the same. Our so-called government are useless, and that has been kind. Yes, Amanda, but Spanish politics is another level. I'll tell you that. it's another level. Larry's coming in from Tazacorte, La Palma, Canarias. Good to see you. The median first-time home buyer in the US is now 40 years of age. There we go. So, what else we got going on here? What else we got going on? TOL, is obvious by his absence. Hope you are well. Thanks for that, Andrew. Big shout out to Al, currently in the Canary Islands. Manny's here saying it's Sunday with Stu. Thanks for that, Manny. Good to see you. Jed saying that the UK are stopping expats paying only £3.50 per week to the UK government and are getting a full state pension of £220 a week. There we go. So it's happening everywhere. Manny saying, can you remind us where to send the photos through to? Absolutely, Manny. I'll put it on the screen now. There we go. Spain Speaks at gmail.com. Or as they say here in Spain, arroba for at. Arroba spainspeaks.com. Thanks for that, mate. Lot coming in from Carlo in Ireland. I can't see people's real names here. I've only got their handles for some reason. I don't know whether that's a YouTube thing or it's a problem with the program, but if I don't know your name, sorry for that. Only the handle, as you can see here. What else we got? Anything got going? Manny says Epstein files. Anything to distract from the Epstein files? Is that still going on? The Epstein files. And final question here, why? Not sure what that refers to. Why? But thanks for adding it to the chat. I wonder what that would be for. Manny's saying here, self-employed in the US for 30 years, no complaints. So, again, it depends where you are, what type of government you have that is looking after you. Spanish government obviously feels that people can't be trusted to be self-employed, can't be trusted to take out their own health care, can't be trusted to save for their future, so they need the big brother of the state to take care of them. I think that's the theory behind it. I think that is the theory. I don't know. If you have an opinion, let us know in the comments or the chat section. On that note, I'm going to wrap this live stream up. It's been a pleasure. Back again, I will be on Tuesday. Hopefully it will be a lively session with plenty of news around. We will see. We will see. And yeah, so have a great start to the week. Fantastic end to the weekend. Until that Tuesday, hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios, and bye-bye.